Look at Perashat Shavua. Hashem is speaking to us every day. The rule is every time you have an argument with someone, the minute you start to get angry, you won.
Yeah.
But if the only way to express it is make me angry, which means I have nothing to say anymore. I have to fight with him. I have to. Yesterday was the president. A brigadier general in Israel, a real fighter, not said this week to the government, everyone has to say, everyone talks. How can you tell us? He's telling you the truth. Me and my soldiers putting our lives on the line. What are you playing game? Everyone, maybe fire him, maybe. Fire him. The government is not very clear. The general is not supposed to tell the government. He's telling his soldiers who are putting the blood and life every day. He says, we are ready to do everything. You will do your job. No one wants to hear it, of course not.
The governor was going to come and scold him. They were going to fire him.
No, but you have to see, this is a man from A to Z. His life is sacrificed.
On the line every second.
No, but not now. He's the general. He didn't get it for.
And it's not like the generals in the U.S. where they part of the military industrial complex where they're looking to maneuver, get money for missiles and machines.
No, but this is this is we are the same. Look how the Jewish community felt after Simchat Torah the week, 2 weeks after I was in school with an assembly. It's 100 days already. It's finished.
TikTok perpetuates a lot of the anti-Semitism and all the bad news and all the young people and all that. Now they're trying to ban it, but now the Republicans and Trump may be against banning it because they're getting money. Especially Trump supposedly getting money from one of his
from TikTok?
from one of his supporters.
The owners of TikTok have given tens of millions of dollars political donations. Tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
They're lobbying like crazy in Washington. Yeah. And the kids
The Republicans also realize the only chance they have is Trump. Look at the first pasuk in 5:30. What?
I don't have to.
Don't waste your time.
I don't have to. I don't know how it works.
It's like every other thing. Don't waste your time.
It's a social media thing where most of the young people are getting up and doing stupid things to show it to thousands, to millions of other people. Doing dancing and stupid things. I can't imagine people can waste their time, but they can't live without it.
Yes, but I don't have any.
Get rid of them all.
I never had them.
It's not Shavuot.
And remember to change.
Look a second on page 530.
You usually don't learn Pekudei, right?
Every rabbi has a problem this week of pages.
Sorry, I didn't mean it.
I took out 4 or 5 books instead of 2 books. Normally I have. אבל באמת, יש פה כל כך הרבה, but this is why I'm happy that it happened. You have to do it every 2 or 3 years. Look at the Mishnah, look at the pasuk begins. אלה פקודי המשכן, משכן העדות. So remember then, we never pay attention to the word משכן העדות. מה זה עדות? עדות. Let's say the menorah, you say עדות הוא לכל באי עולם, שהשכינה שורה בישראל, the fact that the candles are lit more than fine. What is the So to be honest, we saw the Perashat Pekudei, the Ramban says, and you see it from the Rambam also, but the Ramban says that the Luchot and the Aron are the centerpiece of the nuclear power of Beit HaMikdash. Basically the same Gilui Shechina. So this is really the Eidut. Look what Rashi says here, and why is Rashi saying it here? Mishkan. You see the second line?
Yeah.
Says Rashi, Shnei Pa'amim. Remez למשכן, למקדש, שנתמשכן בשני חורבנים, על עוונותיהם של ישראל. What is Rashi saying? Someone borrows from you $1 million to take a collateral. The Mishkan is was a collateral. Okay? The reason why the Mishkan is destroyed, the reason why Simchat Torah happened, the reason why 56 happened, 72, is בשביל חורבנם של ישראל, which means the Torah names the Mishkan Ha'edut is to be a mirror. How Hashem is treating the Jewish people. The two of them were destroyed. So there is a famous story here. There is a Hasidic, one of the early Hasidic rabbis, Rav Nachum Chernobyl. Even today you have this dynasty, but very small. Anyway, he used to go on Galut. He used to go from community to community to live like a very poor person. He stays by a big farmer. And in the middle of the night, he's saying Tikkun Chatzot. So the farmer is on the second floor. He hears the guy. He didn't know who's the rabbi. He hears him crying. He runs down. He's on the floor with the candle. He says, "Rabbi, are you okay?" He says, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why are you crying?" He says, "Don't you want Bet HaMikdash to be built?" I mean, I told you the story before, so he said, "Let me ask my wife." No, but at least he was honest.
Yeah.
He comes back, he says, my wife says, honestly, look, we have a big farm, we have a lot of horses. I mean, everything in life is good. Why? I mean, she's asking us. Tells the husband back, do you remember 12 years ago when the Cossacks came? Everything was destroyed. Comes back, my wife says, let the rabbi pray that the Cossacks should go to Israel.
We should say.
Right, this story is a piercing story, each one of us.
But we do it every day.
No, it's not only because we live in the 5 towns and we have a big house and a swimming pool. It's in Israel the same. It's called everyone wants Mashiach for his own good, you know. We want Mashiach for the right reason. This is what the Pasuk is saying. The Pasuk is saying that we want the Taken Olam and Malchut Shaddai. Can you imagine the nicest phrase you have is Tikkun Olam? And modern Jews took it Tikkun Olam, understand Tikkun Olam. And the Christians, Tikkun Olam is to us, to be better people. So this is Mishkan Ha'edut. But listen to this, listen to this. We are going now to have an account. How much gold was collected? What was the gold used for?
You will read Sheviter or no? Sheviter.
What?
You will read Rashi on Sheviter or no?
No.
On the Mishkan Ha'edut.
In a second, we'll come back to it. Okay. Now, look a second and let's see Mishkan Ha'edut. So the first shot is the Mishkan is Milashon Mashkon. The Mishkan was a collateral. Next Rashi, Mishkan Ha'edut. Edut לישראל שוויתר להם הקדוש ברוך הוא על מעשה העגל שהרי ישרה שכינתו ביניהם. The fact that the Mishkan is erected, and later, remember, later in Rosh Chodesh Nisan, when the Shekhinah comes down, Hashem forgave them. Hashem forgave them already when Moshe Rabbeinu comes on Yom Kippur and brings the second Luchot. Yomer Hashem salachti kidvarecha. This is the Hashem Kerachum V'Chanun that we say. What is that? Over there, Shevet Levi did not sin by the Egel. You might think, okay, salachti kidvarecha temporarily. Here Hashem shows collectively that He is forgiving anyone, but as everyone knows, the Gemara says every major tragedy that we have, every has seeds of Chet HaEgel. Every major tragedy that we have has seeds. This is connected to what we spoke before. Which means that the seeds are there. Hashem says, I'm giving you a credit. I'm doubling the credit. I'm giving the credit again until the credit is out. And then other things are happening. The question now is, why is Moshe Rabbeinu giving to the penny? You realize how much gold was collected? X amount was used for this. How much silver was for that? How much copper for that? I wanted to bring you, but it's hard to believe. The Midrash says that some Jews, every time they saw Moshe Rabbeinu, they said, who knows how much money he pocketed? They collected. Moshe Rabbeinu took you out of Mitzrayim. Moshe Rabbeinu. The Torah wants, but you realize the Torah. So this is why Moshe says, and the Lashon of the Midrash is Moshe held people behind his back speaking, which means it's not enough they talk to each other, they make sure.
Here.
The answer is if you are a terrible, if you are a terrible person and you never, if you are a terrible person and you're unhappy with yourself, you're always looking to put other people down. This is the rule. Moshe says, okay, you want it, here, I'll give you
Full accounting.
penny by penny. But the limud to us is it's exactly that. Each one of us, in the back of our mind, very often, right? Him. The son of Rav Zalman Auerbach told me that some real wealthy people used to give my father 10, 15 checks signed, any amount up to 500,000, 10 checks.
Wow.
And he says, why? He says, because we see the way your father lives, we see the signature is there. Normally, he really didn't like it because he never used this amount, but to show you how much. Nevertheless, you understand one of the big differences, very big differences, if you ever visited the house of Chaim Kanievsky, house of the Stadler.
Yeah.
So the Chavetz Chaim also was just a very minimum furniture.
But other great rabbis even mentioned the answer is depends which crowd you serve, depends. And everyone can ask. This is why I give the money for this, for this, for this. The answer is you need this, you need that. The Gemara in Berachot says, Gemara says it, Harotze yehene ke'elisha. If you want, Elisha, the lady building a house to stay and this and that. Harotze shelo yehene kishmuel. Shmuel, the Gemara says,
Great nabis, right?
Shmuel, the answer is, Elisha is a prophet, Shmuel is a judge. A judge, I remember UPS man says to my wife, we used to live on 55th Street, the course lived a big Alav Shalom. He says, I can't believe people tell me he's a great rabbi. It looks like my basic. He says, if I'll take you to the priest, I'll show you how to live. No, but the answer is, but this is the way he looks at it.
We've heard somewhere, I don't know the source, but leadership has its own perils. A Sabani leader position is always subject to all types of criticism, and a true leader has to find a way to withstand all that.
This is why
That's why Shmuel had the problem. It's shor mi lakachti, vet chamor lakachti, vet mi
before his death says that everyone stand up. Moshe Rabbeinu. Look at Moshe Rabbeinu. I mean, this is Moshe Rabbeinu has to give an account.
Also, Korach, for example, is stood up to Moshe. Anybody's a leader position, but so is the one who's attacked.
They always attack the one at the top.
מדוע תתנשאו על קהל השם? בתורה testifies וישמעו שעריו מאוד. This is the price that real leaders are paying, and this is why the real great leaders always shine the way from publicity.
Yeah.
Never.
Can you fix the camera just a little bit?
Yeah.
Please.
Yes.
Sorry. But
I mean, the Sfarim they talk about it, say, David, this is the koach of Letzanut. You start to make fun, mockery, people forget reality, okay? The Torah says that Yitzchak has to look like Abraham. Why? Because Letzanei Adon used to say, מה זה אבימלך? אברהם איזה שם? אברהם איזה ישמעאל? What are you afraid? Now Avimelech and Abraham are for what reason? The answer is, whenever you can make fun of in the current tragedy in Israel now, it's the same. If you look at a good friend of mine told me in the beginning he was hooked up to, said I stopped watching. No, but I'm talking about serious sources of information, not the garbage. It's out of control now, yes?
Yeah. So this parasha is Vayitam Nakim Me'elohim V'Adam.
He says, Vayitem Nekiim Hashem U'Yisrael. Says the Chatam Sofer, Vayitem Nekiim Elokim. No, I think I can do it, Israel. The most difficult part is, I mean, a good example Chatam Sofer used to give is where he used to always, in the summer, go to a certain place, like we go to Dil, we go to upstate, a place Yargan. He used to stay in the same house for many years. 1 year he switched. The one that rented to him figured I have such a great man. He looks through the hole in the door, and he saw the Khatam Sofer is sitting with his family to eat lunch without Kiddush. Can you imagine? You saw it in your own eyes. The fact that he got up over the kid, yes, and prayed 3 hours before you got up. And made Kiddush, you didn't see. Then he went all over the place. Yeah. No, but when the Chazam Sofer found out about it, he said, yeah, Hashem punished me because I should have rented it. It wasn't a malice.
I should have what? I should
Should have rented the
No,
house.
no, should have rented by Amaharas. The wrong. Man, it was no, but it's the same, David. Me and you will see something that someone is doing definitely wrong. Finish.
Give the person the benefit of the doubt.
No, but them to be nice. The man is trillion, not million, not billion. Trillion times bigger than you. What you'll achieve in 99 years, he achieved it.
You
In
have
a
an
day.
opportunity to knock him down.
But because this is the way we are programmed.
Yeah.
We're trying to defend ourselves by
Our way of life.
putting our people. Look a second. That's just because
This is a lesson. Right. So there's a lesson to you have a responsibility to keep your reputation clean.
It's not even the purest.
No, but you're saying it. The times of Pharaoh said it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. Very difficult.
It was the guy shooting the arrow. It's not the-
So they're telling us how many people survived now, 600,000.
Right, so like she says that the same amount of people as the amount of shkalim was the same, exactly the amount of shkalim that are needed. Look a second in Pasuk Chavzai, here on the bottom of the page. ויהי מעט כיכר הכסף, this is the silver, מעט כיכר, לצקת את אבני הקודש, to create the base, the silver base to hold the huge beams, yes, ואת אבני הפרוכת, okay? Then it says, and then there is a pasuk that the money was used. This is no, I'm looking for the pasuk here. See, this is where I copy and I don't check. No, back על הגולגולת, מה שצריך check. back על הגולגולת. Which pasuk? Oh, thank you. This is the pasuk. Thank you. Look a second carefully. We're talking about the subtotal amount of money. Yes.
Yeah.
So look at the pasuk. כסף פקודי העדה, Larry, you see pasuk כ"ה. וכסף פקודי העדה מעט כיכר ב1,750 שקל בשקל הקודש, בקע לגולגולת, מחצית השקל בשקל הקודש. Why is the Torah repeating here again? בקע לגולגולת, which means the מחצית השקל is based on גולגולת. What is גולגולת? The skull. Listen, it sounds funny, but here, listen to this. Yeah,
It's based on the what? On the scroll?
The skull. What happens if someone has two skulls?
Two heads?
Skull?
This is the reason David will bring it. That's it. Then listen to this. This is a Gemara.
We're counting skulls, you say?
כך כתוב פה, מה זה בקע לגולגולת? בקע לאיש, לא? בקע לאיש. גולגולת, skull. So the Gemara says, this is the Gemara, Larry look, is the Gemara to remember, but the main thing is the commentary. This is Menachot 37. בהם הנה פלימו מרבי, מי שיש לו שני ראשים, באיזה מהם מניח תפילין. מרבי, this is not the סעודה שלישית. רבינו הקדוש. Okay, so he made fun of him. He says, you're making fun of me. Did you ever see anything like it? So the Gemara says, as Rabbi is telling him, this is not the place to ask.
Siamese twins.
As the man is asking his question, Ata'u Gavre, a man walks in, Amarlo is asking Rabbi, it's Yalidli Siamese twins, it's Yalidli Yanuka, the Itlay Terash, I had a baby of 2 heads. Kama Be'inan the Meitav La Kohen.
Right, sure. They do
Mr.
pigeon.
Bechor
Yeah.
wants to put you on
Which
a
one?
band, does he have to give? Interesting.
2 or 1? Wow.
Okay, anyway. Okay, so Ata Usaba, an old man, says, you have to give 10 Selaim. Okay, and the Gemara continues. Tishma Pele.
That's true.
Listen carefully now. Tosafot, now if you look at Tosafot there, Tosafot at the bottom says, Yesh Bamidrash, Ashmedai.
We just learned about.
What does that mean?
What's that?
They're like the king of the
Yaakov.
Shaddim.
This one who helped find King of the demons?
Right. The Gemara in Gittin, the Gemara, right. The stone that broke the... הוציא מתחת הקרקע אדם שיש לו שני ראשים לפני שלמה המלך. He bring it to שלמה, ונשא אישה, אוקיי? והוליד בנים. When he died, he started to fight. This one in the two head says, I need double, because I'm two. Right? Because Avod wants to show that the concept exists. This is interesting. Remember, this is the Gemara I read you, this is Tosafot. Now I'm reading you. Now I'm reading you from Shita Mekubetzet. Shita Mekubetzet, Zvachim Menachot. Listen to Shita Mekubetzet. Listen to this. They have slightly a different version.
Yes.
Shlomo, the guy is coming to Shlomo. Shlomo Bechokhmato covered one of the heads of the baby. And he took hot water and spilled it on the other hand. And the one that is covered starts to scream. Says Shlomo, you see it's one body.
I remember that story.
Wow.
So therefore what? So you should only bring
One.
It's
It's hot. It's one. Now,
Rabbi Bess used to love to bring the story to show Abdul.
Oh.
So, yeah.
you hear what he says? You know what he says? Says Rav Soloveitchik, what is the story really? I mean, it's a cute story.
This is a message.
You know what it means to be a brother for other people. This is exactly what he says. This Midrash is telling you that if people are, let's look, a week after Simchat Torah, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now,
We fade.
the answer is we cannot without angels. Nobody is an angel, yes. But is there any cell in our brain that still feels it today? That's a sim shalom every day. It's different than yesterday, since then or not. ולמינים ולמלשינים וכל, I mean that. The only advantage, if I spoke, I don't know, but I feel I spent 5 days in Israel. The only advantage is I see it this morning in Rafael. I said, Shlach refuah shelema Daniel Shimon ben Sharon. Who is that? I met the father who told me who he was. And he says my son is in captivity.
Wow.
And I'm sure that he's tortured because he was
Told you.
a face. I have a face. No numbers, people.
It's not remote.
I met 4 wives in Gush Etzion. Each one spoke about the husband serving in the army. No one lost. I have a face. I want the husband to come. But this is what this idea is. Shlomo HaMelech is teaching you when you feel the pain, you know that he is your brother. Think about it. It's so powerful. But anyway, let's go back to the
So
person.
contrary to this concept, in the secular world, we have what they call it a head count.
No, I was thinking of that.
They're counting individuals that they're not together. It's a head count, so to speak. Each one is separate. So contrary to the concept that we're learning.
Look carefully. Look carefully. Read once a week the rules from Israel. The government is acting like there was never war. We are in full control. We know nothing. You lost your nothing. No one can trust you on anything. And the answer is this is life. It's not, man, I'm not blaming the government. This is life. Time passes by. We forget. A teacher by us drove his daughter to the airport. She went to Israel like 3-4 weeks after Simchat Torah. He hears a black policeman. Calls his wife, says, you have to come here, What's the story? You have to become Jewish. He says, look at this. Hundreds of packages are being sent from here to Israel. Why? Because of the brothers. This is Jews. I mean, this is simple going. Walks in the airport. Again, it's not the money or the package. I'm telling you again. Me and you, do we think 1 minute a day internally, not externally. Everyone feels bad and everyone will do whatever.
The first one,
What?
the first month maybe we felt it.
No, but I'm saying, so we cannot feel the same as the first month because no, it's impossible. But here, this is the point. Do we feel a little? When? How do we express it? It's
That's why the trips there are really impactful on the people who go. It doesn't leave, it doesn't.
Tremendous.
and going back, David, this is Be'emet Be'emet, the Poskim talk about saying these two is here. If it's Beka Lagugolet, not to the Ish, this is why
Yeah.
really the man came with the question. Realize? Here you see that B'Machzita Shekel, right? You pay by the head. Is it, you realize the Gemara really did not speak so much in the same means to it. The Gemara spoke about one body has two heads. So then you can have an argument. But Siamese to me is the Kuli Alma. Kuli Alma, when Rabbi Feinstein, if you
Kuli
remember,
Alma is what, is
the
one or
Kuli
is-
Alma too, the Chora. But here, when Rabbi Feinstein had the question, you know, this is in print. We know that everyone knows the couple. A couple from Lakewood, the first time they knew to give birth, Siamese twins. Philadelphia's Children's Hospital, and the doctors said there's no way they can survive unless they really separate and kill one of them because they were sharing the same heart. It's impossible. So the heart made it. Anyway, interestingly enough, the doctors told the parents, "We are Christians. We asked the priest." They said yes.
They said yes to what, to kill?
To take one.
To kill one.
It's one heart.
Rabbi Feinstein said at that time that this was one of the difficult questions he had. And the main question is it two bodies or it's one body sharing many organs? If it's one body, it's not a problem. So you cut this.
Including the arm to save the other rest of the body.
Anyway, he said he didn't sleep for a few days and he gave them the green light to do it. They did it. Thankful.
Could it be a rodef? Is that
No,
one?
this is one of the questions. The question is, David, who is the Rodef?
So you see who's stronger, who has a better chance of living.
Just because he's stronger doesn't make him the Rodef. Okay, so the decision there was the one that really has the heart. To realize the other one, the other one is
plugged
getting-
in.
but,
It's not that different from a pregnant woman.
What?
It's not that different from a
Okay,
pregnant woman.
but,
Which one is the rodef?
but you see that
No,
the
the
reason
one
why,
that's
Eli, but you see that the Gemara, like she says in Sanhedrin, we saw it more than once. The reason why you can kill the baby is not because he's a rodef, because the baby is not a full-fledged human being.
Yet.
A kid comes to me yesterday, sophomore, he has to write an article on the post. I said, who gave you the article? English teacher. He said, can you show me inside? Did you ever see the Rashiv? Shofech dam ha'adam ba'adam, damo yishafech. What does it mean, shofech dam ha'adam ba'adam? Shofech dam ha'adam ba'adam. Says Rashi, says the Gemara in Sanhedrin, you're spilling the blood of a human being who is now be'adam. So when in the Adam. אז הוא נבהל מזה, אמרתי,
Rashi says that's a
take a picture here. Then I showed them the Rambam in Ilchot Malachim. The Rambam says that Benoach nehirag. The first example the Rambam gives is a Noahite is being killed for unnecessary abortion.
unnecessary abortion.
Okay,
And
so
the second word, nurses don't want to participate in abortions because it's against their beliefs. And now you want to take it back now to whole controversy in IVF, when there's a number of embryos and they use some of them, now what do with the other ones? And which the doctor has to predict which ones are more viable, what they do. If there's 4 embryos that are there, and they only want 2, what should they do with the other 2? It's a big challenge.
So Rashi doesn't call it.
That's before 40 days, obviously.
So you're saying that there are other opinions, we've all heard it, that they call the baby,
right, no, David. The main question is if the Rambam calls him a Rodef, so how come after his head is out, he's not a Rodef? Hundreds of pages. See, if you learn the Gemara, Rashi says before he's born, because he's not a full human being, and the mother is, okay, so
that's
after he's born, if the Rambam brings the Rodef after he's born, so the Rambam says Rodef while he's in his mother's stomach, so after he's born, he's also the same, no? Baya is a Baya Gdola. Look a second, it says a few times in the parasha, ויעשו כאשר ציווה השם את משה, few times, they bring in, look a second in Pasuk Lamed Bet, it's page 534. Keep in mind that this is done before Hanukkah. Yes, Moshe comes down the day after Kippur. He's telling them about the collection. They collect, they do, they finish. ותכל כל עבודת משכן אוהל מועד, ויעשו בני ישראל ככל אשר ציווה השם את משה כן עשו. The question is, what are the words ככל אשר ציווה השם את משה כן עשו? I mean, many commentators say it applies to me, to you, to everyone, the emet that keeps Torah mitzvot. We do it. But sometimes under pressure, we cut corners and subconsciously we justify. Subconsciously we justify. This is why you have Gedolei Torah. This is, the very famous story about when Rabbi Kotler opened his yeshiva. By the way, he opened it in Shushan Purim about 81 years ago. So he had about 15, 18 students. One of them was the grandson of the Chafetz Chaim, Mamash, grandson, Saba. Anyway, he noticed that from time to time he doesn't come for shachrit. So he says to him,
Rabbi Zach.
He says to him, you're the grandson of the Chafetz Chaim.
How could you not show?
He says to him, but the way the story is told, don't challenge the emet or this part, but it's a emet.
There's a widow.
So he says to him, there is a neighborhood, there's a widow I know that needs help every morning.
Many children to get off the school.
And the children, says, you are really the grandson of the Chafetz Chaim. This is exactly. Who is the widow, my wife?
Oh.
In other words,
Everyone-
you gotta help your wife.
Everyone loves the story. The widow I would run every morning, I'll get up at 4. It's my wife. It's her job.
The story told, a young couple, rabbi couple, walking over the garbage, and then they want to take out the garbage, so the rabbi himself came to take out the garbage. I know the granddaughter, Rabbi Sachs' daughter, Rabbi Wiesenfeld, she was the medical referral.
Rabbi, could you read
Yes, half a second. Here's the point. The point is, Kasher Tziva Hashem et Moshe, Be'emet, for religious people is the biggest challenge. We put the tefillin, we put this, but Emet, Be'emet we do. But Kasher Tziva,
They did exactly.
which means to realize if someone tells you not to do it, you're not doing it. And if someone tells you you have to do, you have to. It's very difficult because being a human being means I'm in control. I'm in control. The Midrash says that the Nachash, before he was punished, used to stand. The Midrash emphasizes a few times that when he approaches Adam and Chava, he's standing. But what is Modim every day? Modim is I'm bending in front of Hashem. I'm saying it's not me. I am Machnia. It's the most difficult part because we are human and Hashem gives us powers and we have to use the powers. But to be nichna, this is the Kasher Tziva Hashem et Moshe. Some people take it, of course, to the extreme, but they feel comfortable because they have ego. I'm machmir and everything. Why are you doing it? And the Shulchan Aruch says, for instance, that I remember this 400 years ago. Don't put Filev Rabbinotam unless you are known to be a Reshomai. At that time, this is what he meant. Don't do it because of A, B, or C. It's a good story. I mean, did you ever listen to lectures or you saw the books of Rabbi Pincus?
Yes.
Shimshon Pincus.
I listened to his classes.
I mean, it's hard to believe that a man that basically is 10, 15 years old. Older than me, let's say, became so popular. I mean, he was a rabbi in South America. Then he went to Ofakim. He says, I mean, it takes a lot of guts to say it. He was a brisket. You know what the brisket means? He was a real brisk. His father was a real. Anyway, then he became more into Kabbalah and he combined. He says that he believes that the only reason he got the push really to said he was in a dormitory in Israel with 6 boys. Okay, everyone goes
He
on.
had to push to become a rabbi?
To really take Judaism seriously, not as a job, not as a title. I mean, לא היה אדם כמוהו, 24 שעות. He says, all the boys went back to America for Pesach, and here he is in the dormitory, dormitory of boys. No, but the dirt all over the place.
Yeah.
It's Erev Pesach, he says, it's Erev Pesach. So he says, I was a young kid, and I figured, why should I do it? It's all the six. I can sell it, all the lineage. Then he says, you have to clean all the chametz. I worked all night, Erev Dikat Chametz says, I believe that this is what put me on the road for success in his way of chiyut. This is kasher tzivah Hashem.
Well, isn't there a Gemara where they talk about if you look at it as if you look at it doing it as a masui, it becomes a problem, right?
But exactly, but this is exactly what life is about, But to make a decision, when is it a challenge? Let's see if you, or when is it a nisayon? To see what you decide. I'm telling you again, all the stories we love because we use it as an excuse for ourselves. The son of Zalman Auerbach said, the people used to bring a nice etrogim. 1 year he got a etrog, one of this that you never see in the market. And he says his father didn't take it to shul. He says, why do I need everyone in shul? We love the story because this is an excuse for me not to spend $500 on a etrog. You know what I mean? I asked him why I have to share. But this was the man. The man was.
He lived it. He lived that way.
From Zalman Auerbach, never slept outside of Yerushalayim. If he's born in Yerushalayim, never means almost never. When his nephew got married, the wedding was in Tel Aviv. He says to his wife, he had to leave his wife. His wife was, my home is my car. She could. We're staying to stay. She says to him, what happened? And he slept in Tel Aviv. He says every night every family after the wedding, you come home, you talk to your husband about. She has can you imagine?
And his nephew was an orphan?
An orphan because his brother-in-law died. Let's sit and talk to her after a cup of coffee. Yerushalayim, these values are very nice until
What a
the answer is no, but he had the scale of halacha. You understand everything that he measured. Let's look at the big picture again. When are we permitted to do it and when not? The most amazing story, Shar Chesed. I grew up in Shar Chesed, so I appreciate the story. A young couple comes to him, and they have an argument. How should they name the baby? He says, but at least they were smart enough to come to him. Okay, so then I think one name was Moshe or whatever. And he says to them, by the way, where do you live? He knew that they lived in Shar Chesed, in Rehov Haran. It's like 2-3 blocks ahead. He says to them, you live on this address? Yes. So I want you to pick the other way. The husband says to him, what's the legend? There is a lady in this building that lost a baby, the same name, Moshe. You'll name your baby.
Moshe. Wow.
You have to shiver. There's Moshe. Every time she is you calling your baby Moshe.
Wow.
You realize this is obsession. No, but this is the way you look at life. You realize it's. When the Egel, when money was raised for the Egel, how come no one came to Aaron? Well, give us an account, How come with the Mishkan?
Oh, great question.
Okay, remember, you can
nobody asked at all. We don't have a cheshbon.
Millions. Everyone bought the jewelry. Well, can you tell us?
How much?
There are two. Depends which rabbi and which shul and what the occasion. Normally they say it's expected when politicians raise money. If it's only 40% in your pocket, we're happy.
That much?
They raised for the Egel and the little calf came out. You should have come like a huge answer is it's understood. But he says very good. Uznam Torah is beautiful. He says everyone that gave. Okay, because peer pressure, excitement, but after you give, you feel bad. I mean, it's not good. So I'm happy that some of the politicians took it this way, at least didn't go to the exit. He says the people didn't come afterwards to ask him, where is the rest of the money? No, but the concept is exactly, but remember, life's work is, here David, you are in, Larry is also, you heard it, Shlomo Zalman Auerbach was attended by my mother, by my grandmother, my mother's mother. She was a widow. I am named after her husband who was killed by British soldiers, that's like this. And she didn't have any source of income, and she used to rent for 20 years, over 20 years, he was attended by my grandmother. My sister told me that my grandmother told her that after 2 years, he comes to her and says, Gibrat Huminer, I think I have to relocate. It's a good story. It's a good story.
Great story. Great story.
He says, why? He says, I love the room, but you're not raising my rent. And I found out that every 2 years you have to, if you're not raising it, you're moving. Wow. And every 2 years.
You know how funny it is, Rabbi Prague, when we met the person, how that story goes, because I heard that story. We were sitting, Rabbi Prague and I was sitting in an army base having dinner, and a man walks up to me, and he's a soldier, and he says, why are you here? Why are you here? Well, I'm here from America, and there's a Rabbi Prague. I don't know how it got, and he wants to know, did you ever hear about someone named Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach? I said, did I ever hear? Go talk to that man over there. How small the world that he was new.
The man came to sit with me, and I took his phone number, and I have already four stories for him.
Who's this man?
He was a random person.
I wrote 2 books on Rabbi Shlomo Zalman. I said, really, which books? Oh. I have the books. Then I found out that my father-in-law raised money. He was born after his father died. And my father-in-law was a friend of his father, and he raised my, I mean, he was so
we were at a barbecue. We made dinner for the soldiers.
And he comes to me and he says, can you give me some more stories that are not written? This story is a story that
unbelievable.
You don't have any tenants like that. Any tenants coming forward ask you to raise the rent?
Yeah.
You know, my family had that when they owned a bakery. I think that was a story. I don't know if it's apocryphal or not. My grandmother wanted to raise the price of the challahs by I don't know how much. And my uncles told her if she raises the price of the challahs, they're going to take it to a din Torah. A flip side of it. I mean, I don't know how true the story is.
But they really
same idea.
It's exactly the same idea. Chale, you associate Shabbat with Chale.
Yes.
You cannot, I mean, it's a different mindset completely.
People live differently.
Look at life totally different. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Great Shabbos, Rabbi Prague. Really. Yashikal, thank you. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos, Rabbi Prague. Good Shabbos.
Shabbos, Yaakov.
Yaakov,
To hear your voice.
Shabbos, good Shabbos.
Amen, amen.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi. Shabbat shalom. All the best.